Hello, this is Minter Chen. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to use CI Library's online resource to look for journal article. In particular, I'm going to show you how to search for article from Harvard Business Review magazine. You click on library. Let me just go back a little bit. You click here on the library. And once you're in the library, certainly you can start searching from here, but it's very broad. And you may find too many entries. I usually click this database. Let's come back here. Under research tool, you will click this database A to Z. And the tricky part of using all the online databases available is to figure out which journal, magazine, or sometimes newspapers are located. And related to the business-related subject area, I know ABI Inform has a lot of useful journal article. And for Harvard Business Review, particularly, it's available through Business Source Premium. So this is the only online database that I know Harvard Business Review collection is located. I couldn't find anywhere in the online database that for Wall Street Journal, which can be very useful, but it's not available. So let's use the Business Source Premium. If you click on it, you may need to log in with your CI credential. And once you're in, then you can basically search articles based on authors, a variety of things from this database collection. And here are the search criteria that you can choose from. For instance, in our case, we know that we're looking for some article from Harvard Business Review. That's the publication name. And if you know the title, you enter the title and then choose the title. If you're just looking for like Michael Porter's article from Harvard Business Review, then you would choose author and type Michael Porter here. For anything that he has ever written on strategy, which were published in Harvard Business Review. But if you're really just doing research, just like one of our assignments asks you to find some article from Harvard Business Review on organizational culture or leadership, then you would enter the subject term. Okay, it's called subject term. And certainly you can do all text, but that's too much. I would choose subject term. For instance, I would choose organizational cultures and then hit search. Wow. Doesn't seem to be able to find anything. That's weird. Maybe I will switch to maybe just culture. Sometimes you need to. Okay. Now we find a few more things like innovative culture. That certainly is related to organizational culture. How to fix the toxic culture, that's related to it. And creating a culture that's continuous improvement. So pick the right keyword for subject change. Let's see whether I can do. I'll try organizational change for alt text search. See whether I have any luck. Yeah. So now this is actually pretty good result. And like we're thinking about organizational culture all around, what is organizational cultures, and adapting your organizational process to a new culture, etc. The Leader's Guide to Corporate Culture. So this definitely is lots of good resource to start with. And for instance, you need to be a little careful in terms of the result, because I believe most of them come from Harvard Business Review. Sometimes it could be a book published by Harvard Business Publication. Let's say I'm interested in one of the Leader's Guide to Corporate Culture. And by the way, you probably know if I use corporate culture, I should find this with the subject term. So a lot of time you need to play with the keyword that you use in order to find something you're looking for. Try to find, once you're in here and you actually have the article, I believe, I usually like to get the PDF version of the article, so you can click on it over here, and that gives you the PDF version, which is nice and clean and with some really nice diagram. Yeah, I think this is the one actually I believe I have read and think this is actually a great article called the Leader's Guide to Corporate Culture. This actually is a wonderful article which I read very carefully. And you can download a PDF, and eventually I want to download it. I have my folders, and let's say I want to create a subfolder under my reading folders under management. I'll just call it culture, and I'll click here. I can save this. Ooh, no, not this one. Do it again. I will get into the culture folders. Need to change the name, which is the Leader's Guide to Corporate Culture. So I will just say Guide to Culture from HBR. This is actually a fairly recent article, I believe less than 2 years old. And now you save it. Once you save it, you can open it up from your folder to read it more carefully. And for instance, if this is the one that you have to use for your report presentation, and you can certainly, I will use this snipping tool in window. I think this is a good one to have in my PowerPoint slide in terms of various dimension of a culture's kind of map. Then I can copy it and paste it. For instance, if I do have a PowerPoint slide here, I can just paste it over. And sometimes you may want to bloat it up a little bit, or in Adobe, sometimes I will use take snapshot. If something is relatively small, I would certainly highlight it. And after highlighting it, sometimes I would expand it zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit bigger, and then I will copy, and let me delete that. Now you paste it. It's supposed to be bigger, but make sure you do document your source in terms of where this article came from. So if you come back here, then you will basically, this is your source. Okay, so I will come back to the PowerPoint to document where I got it. Let me zoom. I will use paste, just text only. There's too many author, so I will basically just list one and put in proper format. You don't need to say that's a cover story. And that's from Harvard Business Review. We don't need this. And eventually you can just say source. So make sure you document all your source in preparation of a report or presentation, so that people know where you're getting it from. Whether it's online or from journal article. In this case, it's probably not a good idea to actually copy this link, because this link can be misleading. People really have to access to CI's online database in order to get it. And you may want to get a proper title for this, and you may want to use my slide as a template. So if you go to design, you can browse. So in this case, you can use, let's say, my PowerPoint slide, which is under slides, and as a template. And I like to use now this widescreen format. I'll just say in short fit. So that's what we have. And I will actually give you a template that you can use to start with. And you need to give a proper title. So this is like a culture, just as an example, guide for leaders. And then you have a source. And certainly you can incorporate additional text, etc. So this is just a short demo in terms of how to use our school's online database through the library's collections, particularly for Harvard Business Review article. And you can certainly search articles, journal magazines from other online database available through the school. And you're welcome to search actually the web and to find additional information. Okay, that's it. Thank you.